I think they're going to find it very, very hard. And I say that because the country faces some really fundamental problems. I suspect this government could be in trouble pretty quickly.
Commons erupts as Nigel Farage confronts David Lammy over shocking remarks. You're not going to believe what just happened inside the House of Commons. Tensions were sky high, the atmosphere electric, and then Nigel Farage stood up, looked straight across the chamber, and called out David Lammy in a way that had the entire room buzzing. It wasn't just a disagreement, it was a showdown. You could feel the shock ripple through MPs as Farage tore into Lammy's recent remarks about the direction of the government, immigration policy, and national unity. And here's the part that's getting everyone talking. Farage didn't hold back. He accused Lammy, the new Foreign Secretary, of putting party loyalty before public trust. The moment he said it, gasps echoed across the chamber. Let's break down what actually happened. This fiery exchange took place during Prime Minister's Questions, the weekly event where MPs get the rare chance to grill the country's top leaders. Usually, PMQs are tense but predictable. This one, anything but. Nigel Farage, who's made a thunderous return to British politics through his Reform Party platform, used his question slot to take direct aim at the Labour leadership. Mr. Speaker, he began, voice sharp and deliberate, this government promised transparency, integrity, and reform. But after months of confusion and broken promises, does the right honourable gentleman still believe his party represents the working people of Britain or just themselves? You could see Starmer's jaw tighten, but before he could even respond, Farage pivoted straight toward David Lammy. He said, and perhaps the Foreign Secretary would like to explain why the British public is being told one thing about international policy, while his department does something very different behind closed doors. The reaction was immediate uproar on both sides of the aisle. Some MPs clapped, others shouted in protest. The Speaker had to intervene several times just to restore order. Now, here's where things got even more dramatic. David Lammy, never one to back down from a fight, rose to his feet and fired back. His voice cut through the noise. Mr. Farage has no authority to lecture anyone about public service or integrity. This government was elected to fix the chaos he helped create. That line drew cheers from Labour benches, but Farage wasn't done. He smirked, paused just long enough to let the room quiet down, and replied, "Chaos, Mr. Lammy? The only chaos is the one created when truth makes politicians uncomfortable." You could hear the tension snap in the air. Outside Parliament, the reactions were explosive. Within minutes, clips of the exchange started spreading across X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. One trending post read, "Farage just said what half the country's thinking and Lammy had no answer." Another said, "The Commons hasn't been this alive in months. Love him or hate him, Farage knows how to make them sweat." Meanwhile, others defended Lammy fiercely, calling Farage's remarks disrespectful grandstanding, and accusing him of turning PMQs into theatre. BBC analysts later described it as a defining moment in this parliamentary session where frustration finally boiled over. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Farage versus Lammy. It's about a shift happening in British politics, one that's making both major parties nervous. Since his return, Farage has been slowly but steadily regaining influence. He's appeared on countless media outlets, positioning himself as the voice of the unheard. And whether people agree with him or not, his presence alone is forcing Labour and the Conservatives to rethink how they engage with public anger and disillusionment. David Lammy, on the other hand, represents the establishment face of the new Labour government. Educated, experienced, and eloquent, but to some voters, out of touch. When he clashes with someone like Farage, it's more than a debate, it's a collision between two political worlds. And that's exactly why this moment hit so hard. Political insiders are already weighing in. One Westminster reporter told The Guardian, "Farage knows exactly what he's doing. He's not there to make friends, he's there to shape the conversation before the next election." A senior Labour aide, speaking anonymously, told Sky News, "We expected Farage to go after Starmer, not Lammy. But this was clearly strategic, he's trying to drive a wedge inside the government itself." And on the streets of Birmingham, Manchester, and London the reactions couldn't be more divided. One voter told GB News, "I don't agree with Farage on everything, but he's the only one saying out loud what others won't." Another said, "It's all noise. The country needs solutions, not shouting matches. Still, no one can deny this. The exchange has shifted attention squarely back to Lammy and his recent foreign policy choices, particularly his comments on Britain's role in international conflicts and trade deals. Farage framed those decisions as elitist and disconnected from the public mood. Lammy insists they're necessary for stability and global respect. Who's right? That's the question gripping viewers and voters right now. As the dust settles, commentators are calling it one of the most volatile PMQs in months, a reminder that even in a new political era, the old rivalries and raw emotions are far from over. One political podcaster summed it up perfectly. This wasn't about facts or figures. It was about fire and the fact that Farage just reignited the part of Parliament that had gone quiet. So, what happens next? Will this clash push Farage closer to another major political comeback? Or will Lammy and Labour rally around this moment, using it to project authority and confidence under pressure? Because if today's showdown showed us anything, it's that politics in Britain is far from settled. The battle lines are drawn, tempers are rising, and the country's watching every move. And the question remains, if this is just the beginning, how much louder will the next eruption be?